Hi, I'm Rob from HopZine.com. Thanks for joining me for another video beer review. This time I'll be looking at a very special beer. As you can see, I've surrounded myself with some fantastic Mikkeller beers here. I've got my bottle of It's Alive, bottle of Beer Geek Bacon, Black Tie, Spontan Ale, and I've got my Mikkeller bottle opener. So I must be looking at a Mikkeller beer, and a very special one indeed. I've got a bottle of a brand new beer from Mikkeller, only been available for about 2 weeks now. It is a bottle of Koppi, a coffee IPA. I think it sounds very interesting indeed. As with Mikkeller, as always, pushing boundaries, challenging people's perceptions, I'd say, of what makes a certain style of beer. And this is it's a IPA brewed with Tomahawk hops and Guji natural coffee. It's an Ethiopian coffee. It is an IPA, and it is what percent? No. Oh yes, 6.9% ABV. So let's get this open. This is a collaboration between Mikkeller and a little coffee house called Koppi, where the name comes from. And I know Mikkel spent a lot of time with the people from Koppi, tasting the coffees, trying to find the right one to work in an IPA. So let's get this in the glass. I just want to say thank you to Thomas at Mikkeller for sending these beers over. If you've ever seen any of the Mikkeller videos, he's a really cool guy with the moustache. I'm sure you're all familiar with him, but what a great guy for sending me 2 bottles of Koppi. So, what have we got here? Quite a large head, kind of off-white, kind of a beige kind of head, very foamy, very kind of soapy and bubbly. Colour-wise, yeah, like a hazy, orangey, reddish colour. Yeah, slightly darker at the top. You can't really see that. Yeah, it's very hazy, as you'd expect. It's an IPA with coffee in it. So let's give it a sniff. That's really interesting. Hops definitely, but definitely coffee. Not in a really harsh roasted kind of coffee way. A little bit more floral, but it's definitely coffee. Fascinating. It's a real equal blend of hops and coffee. Maybe a touch more coffee than hops. But yeah, definitely coffee. Yeah, with a slightly fruity, citrusy edge to it as well. That's really interesting. I've never smelled a beer like this. It's very, very unique. Yeah, like a handful of freshly ground coffee. But as I said, not a potent, not really acidic kind of coffee. Really fresh. Yeah, and it's like kind of citrusiness. Anyway, I'm dying to taste this because what a unique beer. That's mental. Straight up, it's a straight off the bat IPA. Comes through with quite a tart bitterness. Never too harsh, never too kind of overpowering. Grapefruity, I guess, a little bit, not too dry. Yeah, kind of a bit of hoppiness there. The coffee flavour is there. It's there. It's kind of like a not an overriding sweetness, but there's a kind of a chocolate kind of edge to it. That is so strange, but in a really good way. And I mean that. I honestly mean that. It is IPA, and it's got coffee in it, and it doesn't seem thrown together. It seems really well conceived, a really nice idea, and not as ridiculous as some people may think it sounds. Because putting coffee in an IPA is not a normal thing. But is Mikkeller ever going to do something that people are going to be so complacent about? No, no chance. Yeah, IPA, up to that point, but in the back, kind of wafting up to your nostrils, that's where the coffee is. I don't think it's a massive amount in the flavour, but more in the aroma in the mouth. One term that I once read in a beer book is the term retro-nasal, and that experience with coffee is more in that retro-nasal thing after you've swallowed, as those aromas kind of waft back up into your kind of nasal cavity. It's definitely there, and at the end, just right at the start, I got a bit of yeastiness as well, slightly kind of Belgian kind of yeastiness. That was really unexpected. But the end, dry, bitter. But this time, that hot bitterness is really complemented with like the fresh coffee bitterness. Not overly dry, as you wouldn't expect with those two flavours, coffee and hops. You'd expect quite a dry finish, but it's not. It's quite juicy. I'm not dry at all. It's a really pleasant drinking experience. Is this style gonna take off? I don't think it will, because it's a very bold move, and that's what Mikkeller does. Doesn't play around with boring styles of beer. He's working towards interesting things, pushing the craft brewing scene forwards as only he knows how. And this is a really brave move. If you can find it, definitely try it. It's a really unique drinking experience, and one I think a lot of people will enjoy. Don't be expecting like a coffee you'd expect in a stout. Don't be expecting the cleanest IPA with lots of vital fresh hops. But it's got that to an extent. It's just a really nice blend of the two components that were intended. So I guess mission completed. It's done the job. It's a nice IPA with a coffee flavour. You can't argue with that. So yes, if you can get your hands on it, try it out, because I know you'll find it really interesting, as I have. And once again, thanks to Thomas at Mikkeller for sending this bottle over. I'd have never got it if it wasn't for him. So thanks a lot, and no doubt I'll be buying loads more Mikkeller beers. So until next time, thanks for joining me, and cheers.